So please join me in welcoming Dr. Schola Matovu.
Thank you, Ben. Good evening. I want to start by thanking this establishment. This is the first time I have a podium that I can lean into, that can push a button and it moves up and down. I am on top of the world tonight, so thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Children's Service Society of Utah and the Grand Families for inviting me. It's truly an honor to be with all of you fine people this evening. You, my people, my village. And by that, I mean people like me who believe that family strength, tenacity, and caregiving come in beautiful forms, many, many beautiful forms, across generations and across cultures. From a quiet village in Uganda to a snow-covered neighborhood in Utah, two grandmothers, worlds apart, no doubt, but they wake before sunrise to cook meals, to help with homework, and to comfort the families they now raise alone. I was one of those children who was raised lovingly by my jaja or grandma, Miss Matilda Naboa, in a very small village in Uganda. That is the house where my life began and the neighborhood that shaped my earliest childhood memories. I'll tell you about those memories another day. But at the time, I was not really proud of my jaja walking into the PTA, the school meetings, which she did diligently, because I didn't think she was as young as the other parents, or well-dressed, or driving a beautiful car. But I grew up and I learned that she embodied the true dignity and courage. My jaja understood the value of education in a way that was extraordinary. She never had a chance to go to school. She reminded me often that she could not read or write, but her vision was clear. She wanted to have opportunities clear and available for me, opportunities that she never had. That was courage. That was foresight. Although she has since passed on, her influence continues to shape the person that I am today. Hello, I'm Dr. Schola Matovu. I'm a nurse scientist, and I'm a professor at the University of Utah College of Nursing. Thank you. My work spans from Uganda to Utah, and it focuses on improving health and well-being of grandparents who care for their grandchildren and increasing their visibility, not just in data, but in policy, in funding, and care. And if there is one thing that I've learned from listening deeply to these grandparents across these different parts of the world, is this: they are holding up the world. Globally, over 163 million children, and that is 1 in every 50, are being raised by grandparents, and especially by grandmothers. Here in Utah, more than 21,000 children, and that is 1 in every 45, are living in a home where the grandparent is the head of the household or the primary caregiver for the grandchildren. These are not small numbers. This is a movement, you see. A movement led by grandparents, especially grandmothers, whose stories remain largely unseen and unsupported. I carry their stories with me because that's what grounds my work. I remember sitting with this grandmother in a small house that wasn't really hers. Somebody was constructing a home, and so it's this incomplete structure where she was happy to occupy with 6 of her grandchildren since she didn't have anywhere else to call home. She had had such a difficult life. But then again, that's another story for a different day. And as we spoke, rain pounded on the tin roof of this small house so loudly that we had to speak louder to hear each other. In the corner of the room, one of the grandchildren lay sick with malaria. And as we spoke, she suddenly stopped, tears streaming down her face. And I gently asked, I said, "Why are you crying?" She looked at me and said, "Look at you. Look at you. Your grandmother must be so proud wherever she may be. You are the dream I have for my grandchildren." And one day, she said, "One day, I want to wear that hat." And I asked, "What hat?" She said, "Their graduation hat." Her words pierce me now as they did then, because the heartbreaking truth is she may never have lived to see that dream fulfilled. I know my Jaja didn't. And yet her hope, her labor, and her love, oh, that matters. She might never stand at the finish line, but she is laying the foundation, the very foundation upon which future generations will rise. Future leaders, future healers, police officers, nurses, and scientists like me. And so I carry those words and many others like her as a reminder to tell other grandmothers that their efforts are not in vain, that they matter profoundly, and that we must stand with them as they raise the future of our interconnected world. Across Uganda and Utah, I hear the same echoes. Grandparents raising grandchildren while navigating these systems that they were never prepared for, especially at this later phase of their lives. Child welfare, school enrollment, health care for grandchildren with special needs or disabilities, and they're often doing this alone with limited financial support, declining health, among many, many other challenges. And yet, when I listen to them, I hear not just a bit of fatigue and a bit of anger and even frustration. For the most part, I hear this fierce pride, this deep love, and this unshakable sense of purpose, you see. Many describe their caregiving role not as a responsibility, but as a sacred calling. This is our global story, woven through different times, crises, places. Whether it's due to the HIV epidemic of the 80s and 90s that wiped away entire generations in sub-Saharan Africa, or the crack epidemic of the 80s here in America, a crisis compounded by these social and systemic disruptions of family structures as a result of these mass incarcerations that rendered grandparents the heads of their families. Or the opioid epidemic that is plaguing rural America today, especially right here in our backyards in Utah. Different places, different crises, different times. And yet the pattern is the same. When families and societies fracture, grandparents, grandmothers often step in to mend the pieces, often without recognition or any support whatsoever. So, what does support look like? It looks like what Children's Service Society of Utah and its programs such as Grand Families is doing. Not only connecting families to these essential resources such as diapers and school supplies, but also championing advocacy, offering education and upholding the dignity of every family, every kinship family that they serve. Support looks like policy that recognizes grandparent caregivers as central to family well-being. Not invisible or informal, but essential. By providing them with the financial assistance, legal guardianship rights, and access to these health services that are so crucial and are so desperately needed. Support looks like donors and philanthropists like you fine people this evening, continuing to support the work of so many other organizations, especially Children's Service Society of Utah, to sustain and expand its impact for those families who need the resources. And for some of us in the scientific community, support means more than simply documenting these hardships. It means conducting science that seeks solutions and drives meaningful change. For the past 14 years, my research has centered on understanding these lived experiences of grandparent caregivers. And now I am working alongside them to co-design these interventions and solutions that are not only evidence-based, but are also rooted in their realities, in their strength, in their needs. See, we all have a part to play. And when we do, we strengthen entire communities, we help keep children out of foster care, we reduce poverty, we improve health outcomes, we sustain cultural knowledge and these intergenerational bonds. And most of all, we affirm that family, however it forms, is worthy of recognition and care. In closing, I want to leave you with this. Grandparent caregivers are not just a niche population. They are global heroes, quietly saving lives one child at a time. My vision is simple: a world where they thrive, seen, supported, and celebrated. They have carried this burden long enough. Let's show up for them, shall we? With policy, with programs, with funding, with community-engaged research, and with kindness and love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ben, just a second. Just wanted to say thank you. We are currently working with Dr. Matovu, has some projects ahead of us, and we just wanted to say thank you so much for being here tonight.
Oh, thank
and for
you.
giving us your time.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.